Hi everyone, it's Kristen. So today we're going to be talking about Dazzler 28. And to me, this almost looks like, Cloak and Dagger. Like there's Cloak and then, or there's Dagger and then Cloak is like surrounding her in the background. That's what it makes me think of anyway. It's still a cool cover though. So, and we open on Rogue beating up a, a punching bag that looks like Dazzler because she's not happy. Like this, I mean, she's like, I'm Rogue. I have the power of Miss Marvel, and yet this little girl with light powers beat me. Like, how is that possible? And you see her just like she's just tearing up this training room because she is just so mad and so frustrated. And then when we last saw the girls, they were in this room with this guy, um, because they had been blackmailed because this guy had pictures of Lois, killing this homeless man who had attacked her, back in New York. So they had gone on the run, and this guy had blackmailed them and saying, "Hey, I need you to steal this $1 million and to kill this guy. And if you do that, then I won't say anything. I won't tell the police." And of course, they realize, oh, it's Nick Brown. It's Lois's father. It's, the man that Dazzler's mom married after she married her dad. So apparently, this guy wanted them to kill either one of three scenarios was going to happen. He was going to kill Nick himself, kill his boss and take over. And then frame the girls for it. The girls were going to kill Nick for him, and he was also, going to take the $1 million. So basically, Angel, he had come to the rescue because Dazzler called him. He accidentally got shot. I mean, it's not like super serious, but he still needs a hospital, and he had called Ken before coming to this mansion, and Ken had called the police, and the police were outside and heard everything like that had transpired, like everything they were talking about. So Ken says that the guy had more pictures of Lois fighting the guy in the alley, and it shows that she was, really defending herself, and the official cause of death was a heart attack. So really, she has nothing to be afraid of. Like if this was put in front of a judge, the judge would, dismiss the charges. And so Dazzler's like, "Oh my gosh, Ken, that's so great." And she's like, "Lois, isn't that great?" And she's like, "Yeah, great." Because she's thinking, I know what happened. I still, I killed that guy. And I killed the cat, which made me so mad. Like I said, I can deal with, in movies, people dying, animals dying. No, nope, nope. Isn't if an animal dies, I cannot watch that movie. Like I watched the first John Wick, and after that, I watched it the one time. I cannot watch it again. Just no. That's just terrible. So, they talk about because Nick apparently is this big, huge producer, and he knows. Oh, she actually hears her song playing on the radio, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, turn it up!" And they say that was Dazzler, and apparently Nick is like a huge, Hollywood person, and he knows Roman Nekaba. I don't think I'm saying that right. But anyway, he's like a huge, huge celebrity, like a huge singer. And she's like the biggest singing star of our age. You don't really know him, do you? And Nick's like, "Know him? I own him." So he's like, "I'll introduce you guys." And, he's gonna help her with her career. Little do they know, Rogue has been following Dazzler, and she confronts them. And she pulls Dazzler from the car and then basically shuts the car door and makes it so they can't get out. And she tears up the engine so that Dazzler can't use the car running sound or use the horn to, fuel her powers. And Dazzler's like, I have to lead Rogue away from, everybody else. And she finds a car and she's like, I hope this runs. So she starts it, gets it running, honks the horn because at this point she can't store, you know, sound or, can't store power in her body. She has to have sound in order to produce her powers. And so she uses the sound of the car running and the horn to try to distract Rogue and try to dazzle her, stun her. Of course, that doesn't really work because, it's just the sound of the car running and just the horn, and Dazzler's having trouble concentrating and doing all three, steering the car because it's a stick shift, which like I actually learned how to drive. That was my first car, was a stick shift, my dad's old pickup. So I had to learn how to drive those, and those are not easy. I mean, you have to like time it just right with like the pedal and the brake and shifting. Otherwise, your car dies. And it was so embarrassing when I was learning. I would get to a stop sign and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, shifting pedal, and the car would die." I was like, oh my gosh. And there's cars behind me and I'd just be like waving, like, go ahead. Like, I'm sorry. Oh man, it took me a while to get the hang of that. So anyway, she's doing all this, also trying to honk the horn to use, that sound, also trying to actually use her powers. So, it's a lot for her at this point. So Rogue has hopped on the side of the car, so she's like, "Oh my gosh, I have to get rid of her." So she rams her into a tree, basically to shake her off of the car. And she's trying to find her way out, but this like property of Nick's is ginormous. Like she gets to the fence and she's like, "Wow, I'm still in his property and there's a fence. Like I can't go beyond there, so let me try something else." And then she rams the fence because she's like, "I gotta get out of here." And she finds herself at an airstrip, Nick's private airstrip. He's like that rich that he has his own little private airstrip and jets and stuff. So she's like, oh my gosh, a jet. If I can only get to a jet, start it up, that would be like way more sound than just this car. So, and Rogue kind of realizes what she's doing and tries to get to her before she can get to the jet. So she unleashes this beam on her and like stuns her just long enough for Dazzler to hop into the cockpit and to start up the jet. Like she's just pushing a bunch of buttons she doesn't know. And see, Rogue is drawn definitely younger there. And it's interesting though because she has brown eyes. And when she debuted, she had green eyes. And in, the X-Men Jim Lee comic book era, of course she had green eyes and so on. The only time she had different color eyes is when Carol took over and then she had blue eyes. But it's kind of cool to see Rogue with brown eyes because, you know, I will say not many superheroes have brown eyes because it's kind of boring. I mean, especially not female superheroes. They're usually they have blue eyes, which whatever, blue or green, I get it. Brown eyes are kind of boring. I mean, I can say that because I have brown eyes. So anyway, Rogue tries to stop her before she can start it, but she starts up the engine. She's able to do that. And so that gives her way more power. And Rogue's like, I have to get to the cockpit before she can actually use her powers. And you can see her. She kind of looks like Binary right there with all this power surging through her. And she uses her powers. She's Dazzler at this point is mad. She's over it. She's like, you've stopped me for months. I've had no peace, no rest, no sleep. That's it. Like, why do you, hate me so much? Like this is it. You know, we're done with this. No longer. And so Rogue is momentarily stunned, but then Dazzler realizes, oh my gosh, she's about to like go into the intake, and she doesn't, even though Rogue has, of course, tormented her for months, she doesn't want her to die. So she pushes her out of the way and saves her, and then like dazzles her to the point where she passes out. sorry, yeah, she dazzled her to the point where she passes out. She clears her from the intake engine, and she basically, you can see, stuffs her in the trunk. You can see her legs just sticking out, and she's like, "I'm gonna give her over to the authorities." And she's like, "I finally, gosh, I can't believe it's over. I've finally gotten this monkey off my back after all these months. I've defeated Rogue, and I've done it convincingly. She's out cold." So she was able to generate enough power that she knocked her out unconscious, out cold. And I also thought this page in this was cool. John Bryan drawing himself with all the Marvel characters. I thought that page was really cool. Let's see. You can see, of course, Fantastic Four, Champions, Avengers, uh, the, what's called, well, now Midnight Suns, Alpha Flight, Avengers, some of the new giant size X-Men. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. So, and oh yeah, it says next in like next month's issue, it says Fame. It says more on Lois, London, Nick Brown, and Roman Nicoba. Like I said, I think that's how you pronounce it. And plus a brand new villainess, all in Fame. So I hope you will join me again in the future for that video. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I appreciate, when you guys like and share my videos. Like I just got a notification, really honestly, for the first time of that someone had shared my video. I don't know if that is really the first time that someone has shared my video, but it's the first time that YouTube has let me know that someone shared my video. So that was exciting. So anyway, I appreciate all that. I appreciate all the support. And like I said, to me, I just love being able to share what I love with all of you guys. So until next time, bye.